Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. I'm Marina, the crochet designer behind Bloodimaryart. Today's tutorial will guide you on how to crochet this unusual granny square tote bag, a fun and useful project, especially for bag and granny squares lovers. As you can see, this particular granny square is not the usual granny square you can see online. We will change a few steps to make it a bit unusual, as the name said. I hope you like the tutorial, so let's get started. Before we dive into the video, it would mean the world to me if you could take a moment to click the subscribe button. This way you'll never miss out on any of my new videos. So here are the supplies you'll need. Worsted yarn in 4 different shades. I've used Hobby Friends Cotton 88. For the main color, which we'll call MC, I've used colorway 05 beige, less than 4 full balls. I use it for the straps and to add 2 rows in each granny square. That's about 175 grams or 262 meters or 286 yards. Contrast colors, which we'll call C1, C2 and C3. C1 is colorway 27, Gold Dust. C2 is colorway 16, Whiskey. And C3 is colorway 13, Warm Shades. A little more than 2 balls in total. That's about 120 grams or 180 meters or 197 yards. Each ball is 50 grams or 75 meters or 82 yards. Feel free to mix and match the colors as you like, but make sure you buy enough yarn in each shade so you don't run out before finishing your project. For yarn substitutions, you can click the link in the description. You also need a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook or a corresponding hook to meet gauge, yarn needle, tape measure, scissors, and stitch markers. A quick reminder that if you are less into visuals and more into reading, you can purchase an inexpensive simplified written pattern on my website and other shopping platforms like Etsy, Ravelry and Lovecrafts. For the first round, we'll begin with one color of our choice. I'll begin with MC. Make a magic ring. This is my favorite way to make a magic ring. Make a slip knot, but don't close it. Insert the hook into this loop and make 3 chains. You are ready to work into the ring. Place 2 double crochet into the ring. This creates the first group of 3 double crochet as the beginning chain counts as a stitch. Chain 2, 3 double crochet. Repeat this pattern 4 more times, so chain 2 and 3 double crochet again. The chain 2 creates our corners and the 3 double crochet creates the side of the square. So once you have 6 groups of double crochet, make 2 chain and slip stitch into the 3rd beginning chain. Make other 3 slip stitch to move on the work and arrive at the next chain 2 space, which is a corner. Before closing the last slip stitch, change color. I'm using C3 for the second round. Second round, make 3 chains and secure the tails with a knot. Including the yarn tails behind your work, make 2 double crochet. This counts as the first group of 3 double crochet. Chain 2, 3 double crochet into the same chain space. Here we have created the first corner of round 2. We need to repeat the same pattern all around, so drop the tails now and make 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet into the next chain space. Repeat this last pattern all around, so 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet into the next chain space. Slip stitch into the third beginning chain and into the next 2 stitches. Slip stitch into the chain space and change color before closing the stitch. I'm using C2. Third round, make 3 chains and secure the tails with a knot. Including the yarn tails behind your work, make 2 double crochet. This counts as the first group of 3 double crochet. Drop the tails and make 3 double crochet into the next space in between groups of double crochet. Three double crochet into the next chain space. Repeat all around, inserting 3 double crochet into every space, so both chain spaces and spaces in between groups of double crochet. Don't worry if your work starts to curl, it's normal. So slip stitch into the third beginning chain and into the next 2 stitches. Slip stitch into the chain space and change color before closing the stitch. So here I'm using C1. Fourth round, make 3 chains and secure the tails with a knot. Including the yarn tails behind your work, make 2 double crochet. This counts as the first group of 3 double crochet. Chain 2, 3 double crochet into the same space. Here we have created the first corner of round 4. Insert 3 double crochet into the next space and 3 double crochet into the next space once more. We need to repeat this same pattern all around, so drop the tails now and make 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet into the next space to create the second corner. And then 3 double crochet into the next 2 spaces. Repeat all around. Your granny square should look like this. Slip stitch into the third beginning chain and into the next 2 stitches. Slip stitch into the chain space and change color before closing the stitch. I'm using MC again as I want all my granny squares to have the same color for the last round. Fifth round, make 3 chains and secure the tails with a knot. Make 2 double crochet, this counts as the first group of 3 double crochet. Chain 2, 3 double crochet into the same chain space. Here we have created the first corner of round 5. Now, as you can see, you have 3 spaces before arriving at the next corner, so place 3 double crochet into the next 3 spaces. Three double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet into the next corner. Repeat this pattern all around. So 3 double crochet into the next 3 spaces. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet into the next corner. This is how your square should look like. Now we'll join the beginning of the square with the invisible joint or any other method you like. If you follow the invisible joint, cut a longish tail and pull through. Thread through a yarn needle and insert it under both top loops of the first stitch. Pull the yarn tight but not too tight. Insert your needle into the top of the last stitch. You want to insert it straight down into the eye formed by the loops from top to bottom into the back loop. Pull your yarn through. This will create a false stitch. You want this false stitch to be more or less the same size as your other stitches. Wave in the end behind your work to secure the stitch in place and maneuver it around with your fingers. Wave in all the other ends as well, like so. For the tails you kept under your work in the previous rounds, you can wave in the ends by simply going back into the same direction but skipping one loop to create a small step. Cut the yarn. For the next granny squares, you repeat the same pattern from round 1 to round 4. You can use any color twice, like here, for example. Now I show you how to join the first granny square to the second one. Grab your second granny square, After completing row 4, change color as usual. Chain 3 and make 2 double crochet. Now take your first granny square and with both right sides facing out, join them by working a slip stitch into one corner of the first granny square, chain 1, continue as usual to finish the corner of the second granny square by placing 3 double crochet into it. As you can see, we are creating a border that aligns perfectly on both squares. Continue join them in the same way until you reach the next corner. Hold the squares together like a sandwich and make a slip stitch into the corresponding space on the first granny square before working 3 double crochet into the corresponding space on the second granny square. Make a slip stitch into the corresponding space on the first granny square before working 3 double crochet into the corresponding space on the second granny square. Once you reach the corner, place 3 double crochet into the corner of the second granny square, slip stitch into the corner of the first granny square and chain 1. Finish the corner of the second square with 3 double crochet. You have now joined both squares on one side, so you can continue finishing row 5 of the second square as normal. Once you reach the beginning of the round, close with either a slip stitch or an invisible join. Cut the yarn and repeat the same process to connect the second square to the third one and the third square to the fourth one. You should now have something like this. The first 3 squares form the base of the bag, while the fourth square starts the first row of granny squares that will be attached to the base. Now let's see how to connect one square to 2 squares, like in this example. Start as before, joining one side using the join as you go method just explained. When you reach the second corner, crochet 3 double crochet into it, then connect the 2 corners below with 2 slip stitches. After that, continue working the corner of your current square as usual. Proceed with the next side of the square. This one will also be attached. Then finish the remaining 2 sides as normal. Continue joining squares this way until you complete the first row. Here's a quick note for 3 sides to join, so follow the same procedure as before, making sure to join at each corner with 2 slip stitches. Continue joining squares this way. Here's a quick note for when you need to connect more than 2 corners. To avoid leaving a large hole in the center, I like to do this. While making the first slip stitch, insert your hook into the previous join, pull up a loop, then insert it into the next corner and complete the slip stitch. Then make another slip stitch into the third corner and continue as usual. Once you reach the very last square, slip stitch into the first double crochet of the round, chain 2 and work a round of double crochet into every stitch. When you get to a corner, place 1 double crochet into each corner space and into the middle join. Once you finish the edge round, join the beginning with an invisible join. Lay the bag flat and grab 4 stitch markers to mark where the handles will go. I use the center of the top second and fourth squares as reference points. From the center of each square, go straight up and you'll find a group of 3 double crochets in the last round of the square, right before the border. Use those 3 stitches as your guide for placing the stitch markers. I mark 5 stitches for each strap, but you can mark more if you prefer wider handles. I have 29 stitches between the stitch markers. Choose the color for your handle, make a slip knot and attach the yarn to the first top right stitch marker. Work 1 single crochet into each stitch until the second stitch marker, so you have 5 single crochet in total. Chain 1, then work 1 single crochet into each stitch across. Repeat this row until you have 79 rows in total. The finished length is approximately 66 centimeters or 26 inches. Make sure the strap is not twisted, then join it to the other side where the corresponding stitch markers are, using a row of slip stitches. To secure the strap neatly from the inside of the bag, turn your project to the wrong side. Insert your hook into the first left stitch marker, pull the open loop through, chain 1, and slip stitch into each stitch and its corresponding stitch on the bag. From the right side, you'll see a clean, tidy join. Fasten off and wave in the ends. Repeat the entire process for the second handle on the other side. Once both handles are attached, wave in all remaining ends and block the bag using your preferred method. I use steam blocking, but you can use water blocking if you prefer. And you are done! I hope you like your new project. This bag is such a versatile accessory to have. You can carry whatever you like. I personally store all my beanies and headbands yarn into the bag, so I have easy access to it when I need it. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.